Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the AATF Technology Tuesday webinar. Our webinar today is Centralized Automation as an Effective Enabler of Industry 4.0 by Turck Banner. As a technology leader globally, Turck moved towards decentralization automation at an early stage. The main benefits of this on your journey towards effective, highly productive implementation of Industry 4.0 is successfully explained in this webinar by Turck Banner's internationally renowned speaker from Turck in Germany. Today, many customers have already discovered the benefits of decentralized solutions. Decentralized intelligence compacts machines' data into valuable information, laying the foundation for a new era of automation. To introduce our presenter this morning is Kenneth McPherson, the Sales Director, Turck Banner Pty Ltd. Kenneth was appointed as Sales Director this year to head up the sales and marketing activities for Turck Banner. Kenneth is an engineer and an accomplished business person with an electrical engineering and a management-focused BTech honors in business administration. He's an avid believer of industrial automation technologies and possesses over 24 years of experience in the industry. His industrial automation career includes project engineering, branch management, product management, sales engineering, and since 2006 with Beckhoff Automation, sales management and managing director. I'll hand over to you, Kenneth, to introduce the speaker.
Thank you very much, Chardonnay. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to be online today and as Turck Banner to be hosting this webinar along with the AATF team. So to everybody, welcome. It is great to have you all attending this very relevant webinar. I have no doubt that you'll find a time well spent with us. We have viewers from all over South Africa, as well as surrounding countries like Swaziland, and our speaker today from Germany. So a truly international webinar. Before I introduce him though, I've noticed there is some confusion regarding our company name, Turck Banner. So allow me just a few minutes to explain this to you. Turck, one of the leading manufacturers in industrial automation, founded in 1965. Turck is a family company with a worldwide presence through 28 subsidiary companies and 60 exclusive representatives offering international support for sales and for service. Turck has been continuously setting standards for more than 50 years with superior products and tailor-made solutions in manufacturing and process automation. The company boasts a complete range of more than 15,000 products in sensor, connector, interface, and field bus technology. Examples of the exceptional innovative qualities of the company are the inductive sensors, modular IP67 I/O system, and XCOM, a compact remote I/O system for explosive and hazardous areas. Then Banner Engineering is one of the most capable and successful manufacturers of photoelectric sensors in the world. Created in 1966, Banner is a family company with partners across the whole world. The company's motto, a solution for every possible application, is based upon their ability to produce the world's largest range of photoelectric sensors and fiber optics. Banner is recognized as the leading specialist for machine vision systems, for ultrasonic sensors, machine safety, wireless solutions, and measurement and inspection technology on a global basis. Banner has a portfolio of over 40,000 products and is the industry's broadcast selection of superior quality automation products, releases hundreds of innovative new products every year. So, in 50 years of fruitful cooperation, Turck in Germany and Banner from the US have continued jointly to pave the way for future technologies. Together, they offer the widest range of products in the market, offering a single source solution for both OEM and end user and system integrator. Thus maintaining the position of global leader in our field. So Turck Banner here in South Africa is the 7th or 8th joint venture formed from Turck and from Banner, and it was founded as RET Automation Controls originally in 1984. In 2018, the company's name changed to Turck Banner Proprietary Limited, when RET was purchased by Hans Turck GmbH and Banner Engineering Corporation to establish the South African joint venture company. Turck Banner sells directly to end users, SIs and OEMs in a broad range of industries and applications. Our primary markets are automotive, mining, pharmaceutical, food and bev, machine building, material handling, packaging, process control, and machine safety. Turck Banner has a reputation for supplying high-quality sensing and automation equipment at competitive pricing, always important. Helping the customers increase production efficiency, reduce costs and wastage, and ensure quality, monitor and control processes, and safeguard employees, Turck Banner has become the industrial automation partner of choice in Southern African market. An integral part of Turck and Banner Worldwide's network of subsidiaries and representatives brings great advantages and many benefits to our customers on numerous levels. Turck Banner's products and services enhance the availability of your system and ensure the quality of your product. We not only have the right product for every application, we also provide unique and comprehensive solutions and service, quickly, flexibly, and reliably. With that, I introduce our speaker for today, Sai Seidel Sridharan. Not a surname that is easy to pronounce. Sai started working for Turck in Germany in 2012 as a product manager for position and proximity sensors. 4 years later, in 2016, he was appointed as the product marketing manager. He also represents Turck at the IO-Link steering committee and marketing working group of the IO-Link community. He's well qualified. He studied his Bachelor of Engineering, Electrical Engineering, from the University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Dortmund. He's also studied electronic systems and marketing management as a general qualification. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Sai from Turck in Germany. Thank you very much for your time, Sai. We are honored and excited that you are spending your time with us this afternoon. Over to you.
Thank you, Kenneth. Just to answer one question, Turck Banner South Africa was the number 5 in our partnerships between Turck and Banner. After you, Malaysia and Thailand came as well. So next to the very long partnership we already had with RET, now Turck Banner is a part of our Turck family, also officially. And just to mention that, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm very honored and pleasure to give you an overview of what I want to present you regarding the decentralized automation. We at Turck believe into a very new way of automation in the next few years, and we are in the middle of that process already. It's not very new for the whole world. We are doing it for some years now, and now we are also bringing it into the marketing world, into the minds of our colleagues and customers. And let me show you my screen, and please give me a little sign if you see my screen already, Kenneth. That would be great.
I don't see it yet, Sai. I imagine it will be coming through shortly. It says you've started sharing your screen. Yes.
Now it's working?
There it is. It's working. Thank you, Sai.
Great. So I will just give you an overview of what we define as a solution for IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things, in terms of decentralized automation. Does it work? It is. It works. So we know that Industry 4.0 is something we have to boost, and digitalization is the booster for that industrial automation. We know that we have to connect a lot of things in the end. Communication is one of the most important parts in that whole world. And you know what's about? It is about open systems. We have to talk about open architectures, no closed single systems for each vendor or each customer. We have to have very connected and digital products in the end. Kenneth just told you something about inductive sensors and IP67 IOs, but all of that things have to be connected in the end. Connected product is maybe one of that key successes. And the other one, of course, in terms of connecting will be software. Software is something we have to face in the near and far future more and more in the industry. And we have to use new information out of assets in the field. So we are working with sensors and actuators already, but now we will get more and more information to use. And our solutions at Turck will find the right way to make your processes smarter and more intelligent and more valuable in the end. And that's the most important thing for you guys. It has to be valuable. You have to be able to sell it. You have to be able to save costs in long term. And this is something we are facing on with you, for you, as soon as you want. The technologies we are facing with that whole stories are, yeah, of course, based on connection and software. It's intelligent and decentralized connection. You already heard about that term IO link, but there are a lot of more technologies in the industry which are not only trended, but really used in the industry already in different countries. We are able to do tailor-made solutions, of course. We're not only doing that standardized one thing, we can do it as you wish in the end. And we can manage it and doing new things with software and services as well, not only with a new product. And of course, maybe getting more and more important is that topic named security. And security is something we also are facing a lot with our customers, and our solutions here are based on very limited data. Don't get everything into an asset, don't get everything up to a cloud system. Just put the data inside which you really need in the end. Why do I tell you these things? These are the basic things Turck is delivering today. So 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we delivered a lot of products in the end. Today, we are now changing more and more to that company which will help you to improve your production, improve your processes. And our vision in the end of being a leading digital automation company is based on 3 topics we are facing here. Industry 4.0, this is the topic we are now facing everywhere in the world, which is coming from Germany, which was founded more or less 2011. Decentralized automation, so getting more intelligence, getting more logic control into fields, into the applications, and also software and services. And how we want to push this 3 vision topics is based on that products and technologies you see here. I told you, IO-Link is one of them. Ethernet, OPC UA, the field bus world where we all grew up more or less. So Ethernet-based or non-Ethernet-based field bus systems. And as you see, we build up that pyramid, and you will see it a little bit later on, because this is something we more and more see, which will be broken up. And we know that with services and software, we will break them up. I will explain you in a second. Above all of them, assets, we are talking about cloud solutions and connected systems, and not only connected products. And that whole environment shows a little bit our offer to you as customers. And now there's a hard break. Do you know anything about sailing? I will show you the landing page where we are describing that decentralized automation a little bit. And from marketing standpoint, we decided to do something totally different. Don't show too many products, don't show too many technical assets. We want to face people with a story around it. And this is something people could tell narrative or storytelling in the end. And we took sailing as a topic for describing decentralized automation in the end. Why did we do that? Decentralized automation doesn't mean that we get the controlled system from a centralized asset and we just put everything into decentralized assets. This means that we start to improve a machine or a process of a customer by decentralizing single processes. So we have 100% process, and now we get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 95% of that process and put that processes into decentralized assets. So now that big centralized control or controlling system is shrinking in the end, and we add this one. We add some decentralized asset to enrich the whole system by decentralizing, by distributing the whole intelligence into the field. Let me show you something regarding the pyramid. I told you a second ago. On the left side, you see something we all know. We grew up with that. Even me, I studied quite. It's not too late, but it's just 10 years ago. And of course, everybody was talking about that pyramid, that vertical architecture. We call it a proven automation system. More or less, everybody is more or less using it. And I maybe know 2 customers who are not using even a part of this anymore. But what we also see is today, we get more and more customers who are using this one in the middle. And the difference between this and this is that we are now getting more impact of that basement of this pyramid. So we have more space and more intelligence inside of sensors, actuators, and IOs, local IOs, and we connect each other together. So a sensor now can be connected to a SCADA system without going that steps as we had in the vertical automation. An MES system can directly get an access to an RFID-based identification system, and so on and so on. And an edge controller can be something like the connection between that old world, that automation world, and the IT world. So from the OT to the IT, something we love in marketing to just say that, OT and IT connection. And this is what we see today. And I'm not talking about this is what we want to see tomorrow. This is where we have projects and customers today. This is reality in a lot of projects we are doing in the last years, and you find a lot of them success stories over there in the landing page of us. I will show you later on. And this is where we see the present, and let me say very, very new future of automation system. And if you go back to that German government strategy of Industry 4.0 and you just hide the picture in the middle, it's exactly what they showed us. So they told the people, today we are talking about a vertical automation pyramid, and tomorrow there will be a world. Do you see my pointer? I think so. There will be a world where you can see, where you can connect everything. Remember, I told you one of the most important stuff is connected products. And connected products just doesn't mean only we have an inductive, we have a safety controller, we have a lamp. This can also mean, this means a robot. This means a Wi-Fi connector. This means something like an asset somewhere in your ERP system. And imagine everything is being connected. This is what they called Industry 4.0 or Internet of Things. And in the industry, we call it IoT, Industrial Internet of Things, but that's the only difference. So we connect everything together in the future, that's for sure. What we know, the step between is something our customers love, because they can just start to do something. And like I said, you can start with 10% of decentralized, you can start with everything in decentralized. That's just up to you, and we can deliver you the right solution. We can be a partner here, and get the right digital transformation into your company if you want. Do you see the whole slide? Just, I'm sorry to ask you now, because I have, now you should see everything, I suppose. So Turck as a partner for your digital industrial transformation. Sorry for that interruption. So if there are any questions in between, just please interrupt me or something like that. One part of that vision of decentralized and added value automation system is also having a standalone system which is being more and more modular in the end. So in the past, or maybe also today, we're designing machines in one line, and we are having projects, and we are dreaming of a world where you can just cut that machine into little pieces, and every of this piece is being equipped with a logic for itself. So imagine this machine, and the opposite of it is this one. You can just take that single modules. Every module itself is more or less intelligent for itself, but it's connected to the modules next to them. They are all connected by another one. It can be a cloud system, it can be an MES system, whatever you want. And you can swap that modules. Imagine you just have a line of 6, 7, 8 modules, and now you have a customer that was customer A, and now customer B is coming and tells you, I don't want this module, I want another one. You can just swap that. And believe me, we have something in the, for example, in the intralogistic industry where we exactly did this. So they have a, let me say, mid-size logistic plant where we have different assets on, and they asked us, and there was a real partnership project. They asked us to do to help them, to support them for a new design in a modular way. And now they have a very modular way of building up the logistic system, the logistic infrastructure, and they can change the modules as ever they want. Of course, there are some restrictions for sure, only if you just think about the mechanical restrictions, but from the machine point of view, you can just take it and do it onto another place, and then you can start to work. And this is something where we also see decentralized automation is an enabler for that modular machines, where what we see outside. Oops, sorry. What are your benefits? So the main benefits we see for customers are short time to market, fast machine setup, lower costs, of course, and increasing the availability. What does it mean? Short time to market means especially the case I described you a second ago. You have a machine line and you can design that machine line for your customers more or less on demand. So you can just have a concept, and as soon as the customer asks you, hey, can you change this or this, you can just swap and try to figure out if this is the right solution for the customer. Plus, what you can also do, you can do a pre-test. So maybe you heard about that term factory acceptance test, which is quite common in the pharmaceutical industry or in the chemical industry, where, as I know, I'm more inside of pharmaceutical, but they like to have a pre-tested machine module before using it in their plant. And if you are talking about a pharmaceutical plant, it's huge. That's what we know. If you now can offer a machine module which is already pre-tested for itself, and you only have to just test the whole process instead of testing the single machine plus the whole process, you save a lot of time. And this is something we saw at some customers in the pharmaceutical, where we sold them a system, or we offered them a system. In the end, we also sold that, where they can do a factory acceptance test before using it in their plant. And of course, it's being a part of agile to do all that stuff. So you're doing a test, you get some results, you get the feedback of your customer, and then you change your own process again. And in the end, there is a mix of a standardized and a tailor-made customer system, what we offer here, and they can do the pre-test before sending that machine part out to the customer. In this case, for example, skits in the pharmaceutical industry with the different tasks they have to do. If you, as a skid builder, can offer a pre-tested system to your customer, to the pharmaceutical plant, and they just have to test the whole plant itself, it makes them a lot of more happy than he was before. Fast machine setup also is part of that whole story. Machine setup also means the mechanical setup. So wiring, in the end, for the electronic people, the electric people, it's wiring, wiring, and wiring. And if you ever did a cabinet wiring, you exactly know how awful that can be. And if you do that in IP67, where you just have that run connectors and you can just plug it and play, it's great. It's really great to do that compared to that IP20 cabinet stuff. And we try to have as much as possible in IP67 for having a very fast infrastructure installed without single wiring in the end. And of course, in the end, it's not only that story, it's also downscaling your cabinet. And of course, we know the customers of our customers also have to pay footprint in the end. And if you have a smaller cabinet and if you have a smaller machine in the end, it's also not too bad. That of course goes into that lower machine costs in the end, and you can reduce all that mechanical stuff, but also you can reduce the sorry, I forget that the camera is on. You reduce the electrical and the mechanical effort. But coming back to that main topic of decentralized automation as a communication, it also lowers your central control capabilities. So imagine yesterday you had a very big control by guys like Siemens, ABB and Rockwell and so on. And now you just get some tests of that PLC as you are requiring and put them onto that decentralized assets on your machine. Now you can just lower that control capabilities, or we also had projects where they didn't lower, but they killed that. But this is maybe the next level of that whole stuff. But you can just lower that and you can save costs by using PLCs, the PLC hardware cost, but also the programming cost of the PLC. And of course, very important to give out to customers the availability data. So condition monitoring is one of that very basic stuff you have to offer in the end, and predictive maintenance is the service you can sell in the end. And you are not dependent on one central control where you have to send all the data through, but you can just send the sensor condition monitoring data or the actuator data or even the temperature data of a line or something like that directly into the system you need, like a cloud system or an MES system or a SCADA if you just want to visualize, and you can start to work with that. Of course, low configuration efforts and so on. This is something our guys in South Africa directly can really tell you how easy it is to configure all that stuff. Decentralized automation helps you to being a little bit faster and more efficient by using that. So we split it up, decentralized automation, into 3 topics: modular machines, condition monitoring, and industrial track and trace. I told you about the modular machines very deeply, I suppose. We believe more and more customers, more and more industry partners will go into that modular designs. It's not only factory automation, it's also the process automation, which is going inside here, and logistic automation as well. And we see a very big trend of doing that very quickly. Condition monitoring is something we have on our roadmap or on our minds for years. We came out of a sensor, and of course we have to deliver data, and this is the main part of the story. We have to deliver the data, but also we have to make that data valuable for customers and for users in the end. And industrial track and trace is something we see as the connecting asset between that processes, like a machine process, and the identification part. So from the production to the warehouse, or the other way around, from the inbound to the production, we need systems, we need solutions to make it easier for customers to exactly know, where do I produce, what do I produce, how good do I produce, and how long will I produce. What is it based on in terms of products? So very important for us is using, we're talking about edge controllers, so we're talking about PLC systems. We are not able to build up a new software environment. There's no way to do something like that. So we chose to use an open source, and Codesys is, if you look into a study, Codesys is, I suppose, number 2 used engineering software for PLCs. And if you go into that vendors of PLCs, you see a lot of people, a lot of companies who are using Codesys because it's open source, it's free of costs, and based on license models to use it onto your own devices in the end. We did that as well, of course, and we are using Codesys as the platform for control software, controlling assets. And we have that IP67 blocks it's looking like a standard block, an I/O, but it's equipped with a PLC inside. It's quite funny to use that, but also HMI-based PLCs. I will come to that later on. And also we are doing that IP20 stuff. It's just based on our history to do that, but also we have a lot of people who still like that IP20 systems, and of course we have to offer something. This is the, let me say, limited version of a PLC. It's called FLC, Field Logic Controller. FLC is something we more or less invented by ourselves with a programming environment called ARGE. ARGE stands for a really great engineering environment, and it's American. That's the reason for that name, but it's really cool to use. And as Kenneth already introduced me as a marketing guy, even I can program that module. It's you can choose between ladder logic, so just click and change, or you can really program something. And it's good to do some local tasks. For example, that factory acceptance test. Just to give you an example, the factory acceptance test at that pharmaceutical was to control and to see if the products they build up on that skid are working in a proper way. So they had some valves, they had some lamps, they had some sensors on it, and they wanted to see if the stuff is working on the proper way before bringing out that machine to a customer. And our customer, our skid builder customer, is using ARGE FLC to do that factory acceptance test. And that's the key thing they did in the real application, in the plant. They are still using the customer's interface. So in this case, I think it was either an IP or Profinet, I'm not sure, but he's using the customer's interface in that. So both systems are working for different use cases, and they can just do that factory acceptance test decentralized, totally next to the standard automation of the customer. This is something where we saw we can just do new things with our customers. And of course, safety is something we especially do in the modular machine building. We see a lot of safety processes we have to deliver in the end. And even here we have a decentralized software solution, which is called Safety Configurator, where you can do little tasks on that safety I/O. Instead of having an FPLC, fail-safe PLC, which is really expensive, by the way, if you just have one or two tasks or a limited number of tasks, and you can use it in your machine directly, you can put in a safety module from Turck. It can be a hybrid one, it can be a full safety module, and use that safety processes with the safety configurator from Turck. More products in the end. I told you about that RFID systems. Even here we have in the end two different ways of using RFID data, and the first way is, let me call it the standard way, by doing track and trace processes and so on with the PLC. Of course we are delivering that, but also we see a lot of applications where you don't use the PLC for using that data. Just as an example, you take the production data of a good you are producing, and you want to have these data in your ERP system. You don't have to use the standard field bus protocols or something like multi-protocol Ethernet or something. You can just directly go via OPC UA. You can pre-process the data in the module, bringing in that data via OPC UA into the ERP system and use it there. The PLC doesn't have to know everything. IO Link. Yeah, as Kenneth already mentioned, it's one of my babies at Turck, and we have a great portfolio to support this technology. We're one of the founding members of that technology group. And even here, we are talking about decentralized intelligence in terms of sensors, and of lamps and actuators. And imagine you have a lot of different automation components which are now connected via one single interface, and this is something IO Link more and more is getting in. And it's not only a sensor anymore, it's also grippers and lamps and valves, manifolds, and so on and so on. I could tell you a long story about that, but time is limited, so we should not do that. And as I already mentioned, HMI PLCs, where you can do based on codesys. Once again, it's an HMI with a full PLC in codesys, and the success factor for that is that you can combine that local control with the global control itself. So you can just do, just as an example, you have a cabinet on your machine or on your an HMI on your cabinet or on your machine, and you do something like a local dashboard for the guy who is being on the machine itself, but you also transfer the data to let's take the SCADA system or a cloud dashboard or something like that, and you use that data on a global way as well. So this can be similar, this can be the same, this can be two totally different things. Just the guy at the machine just has to know, is it okay or not okay? The guy at the smartphone with the dashboard has to exactly know what is happening. It's quite flexible and usable, very efficient, in a very, very efficient way. So I just showed you that boat picture in the end, and I will show you the landing page in a second. And what we wrote downstairs is set the sails towards this, decentralized automation. We see more and more guys outside are using that concept of a decentralized automation next to that centralized infrastructure they already have. And by doing this, they start to also investigate how they can reduce the one side and increase the other side. And if you want to see more about that concept, and hopefully this works in the end, do you see it already, or do I have to change something?
We see it, Si, no problem, we see it.
You see my screen with the homepage, right?
We see the homepage on the presentation. You might need to just close that then to get the web.
That's what I mean. I have to do a new share of the page itself. Now you should see this, the homepage.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah. And I promised you to describe you why we chose sailing. I learned on a sailing boat, and we're not talking about the very modern one for millions of euros or something. We're talking about a rough, usable sailing boat. There is a captain. Of course, it has to have a significant size. Of course, it cannot be a one-man boat, but you have to have a captain. Like in this picture, someone of that team is the captain, and the rest is doing tasks for themselves. And every of that guys is intelligent for itself. So the captain doesn't have to tell him do your task or tell him do your task. They can do it by yourself. The only thing they are doing is preparing all that information and sending. In the end, they send the information the captain really needs to that guy, to that skipper or captain, however you call them. And this is comparable to that decentralized automation stuff. So the PLC, in fact, the captain or the skipper, the PLC doesn't get every information anymore. The PLC is not the heart of the whole information or whole automation anymore. The PLC is one of them assets. But as the PLC today is maybe one of the most important assets, we see that customers are preparing all the data. They are getting more valuable data and bringing that data into the PLC, and the PLC only gets the most relevant data for itself to work. And like I promised you, on this page, you can find all the information you heard about today with a lot of links to technology websites and success stories where you can really see that concept in action, and the products just to read afterwards or share with your colleagues. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much for that very informative presentation. We're now going to move on to our questions. I'm sure there's quite a few coming through. If you haven't asked your questions yet, you use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and send the questions through, and we'll answer those live. If you would like to get in touch with the Turck Banner team directly, details are on the screen, or you can touch base with the AATF team and we'll pass those queries on as well. So I'm going to move on to the questions, and joining Kenneth and Sai on the panel to answer the questions this morning is Brandon Topham. He is the CEO of Turck Banner. Brandon joined RET Automation Controls in 1998, which was recently acquired to form the South African joint venture subsidiary Turck Banner Pty Ltd. He was appointed as the managing director of RET for about 8 years before appointed CEO of Turck Banner since its founding on the 1st of April 2018. He is an accountant and has worked in the industrial automation industry for 22 years and is a highly experienced, well-qualified business professional with a BCom and a commerce-focused business accounts from the University of Witwatersrand, and a CA with articles completed at Deloitte. He is currently completing an MBA. So with that, let us move on to the questions. I'm going to ask you to turn on your microphones and cameras where possible. The first question that has come through: what can customers benefit if they change their automation mindset?
So that was an open question. Yeah, I see now. I just described it in a short way in the presentation. We start to do a mindset change in our customers' minds for getting new values in the end. So we have an existing system in the end, and it's working. And like you all know, never change a running system. But we believe in that you can just get more value out of your machine, out of your processes, if you change your mindset. And for example, having the data on the spot you really need and not you can do. That's the difference in the end we are delivering. You can put all the things into the existing system and you can start to work, that's for sure. But if you now think about how to do it in a more efficient way, you can save a lot of effort, and effort in the end means time, and time means money, by just thinking about your existing automation and changing that whole mindset a little bit from a smaller point of view up to the very decentralized systems in the end.
If I can also add in there, from an automation mindset point of view, we notice, especially in South Africa, that there is a little bit of resistance at times due to the fear factor. Sometimes even the production side of it don't understand that they worry about jobs, they worry about security of the future. What they don't easily realize is that due to automation, there is a great cost reduction in the productivity of the system, the machines, the factory. And when you have a high degree of controls and a lowering of costs, then you remain competitive. And where we're based globally, we tend to be a little bit of a, let's call it a dumping ground, where it's easy from the east, from the west, from the Europe, to receive any sort of products. And for our local manufacturers to remain competitive, they need to be cost efficient to do that. So sometimes it's not really a thing of do we remain how we are, or do we benefit from increased automation. Sometimes it's a question of, if we don't automate, we're risking the sustainability of our business compared to automation, where the cost effectiveness plays a major role and the productivity increase is the benefit.
Great, thank you for that. The next question is, what is the current reality of automation globally?
So who does one? I can just take over. Yeah, very specific on each country and each industry and in each customer in the end. But there's a trend, and this trend is moving forward to a connected infrastructure. And yeah, using this, you all heard about that internet, using the technologies we already have today and going more and more into that decentralized world, even in the industry.
Great. The next question, from a technical point of view, what do decentralized assets look like?
Yeah. I just described one case, for example. We have something like a machine module, and we take this machine module and put in some logics inside. In case it means, from the technical point of view, we put in a local PLC. Can be a field logic controller, for example, or a real programmable logic controller. And we, at first, before doing that, we need to know how the machine works, and we take this task for this area of the machine and put it directly into the machine. And afterwards, we only use in the main PLC, which is still remaining. Just one use case. We remain to use the most relevant data in the main PLC instead of having all the data over here.
Okay, what is your feeling about the future of automation systems? Melting pot with ERP, MES, SCADA, PLC, cloud, etc. How big is the part of the cake for software?
It's the whole cake. It is more or less the whole cake in the end. So you connect everything to everything, and for that connection, you need software. It's not possible without any part of software. So this is the most important stuff. And in the end, software will, in the end, be the business model of a lot of vendors in the end. And yeah, the vision, the future will be looking like I showed you in that picture of the automation pyramid. And you can also find in the landing page, connected world. A lot of assets in the end connected to each other.
Okay, and then we have one last question. How does Turck Banner recommend bi-directional integration with cloud providers such as Microsoft Azure or AWS?
Who's that Microsoft? Of course, we as I also mentioned in that presentation, we are not able to invent the whole world in a new. So we have a lot of cloud providers. We have a very big landscape, a broad landscape of different systems in the end, and we have to be able to integrate to each other and to every of that systems in the end. And there are 2, maybe 3 systems from a global perspective which are really being more and more in the mind of our customers. It's especially Azure and AWS. And of course, we have to connect them. So using a Turck cloud doesn't mean not to use AWS, by far not. This only means that we split up a part of the whole cloud strategy of a customer by using this part in the machine of the customer. So the use case for a Turck cloud in the end can, just in one use case, can be the machine cloud. So condition monitoring data, getting that data and putting it into a cloud platform. And by connecting that Turck cloud to an Azure cloud or into an AWS cloud, they can use that data for their processes as well. Or another example, SAP also has a cloud system called Leonardo, for example. We have to deliver them the relevant data only. And what we don't want to do is deliver these cloud systems everything. They don't need everything. An SAP cloud doesn't need any condition monitoring information. An SAP cloud only needs the result after having that condition monitoring information. And this is what we want to offer in the end. And connection of different clouds, and once again, coming back to the question before, connected assets, connected products is the key to success for that digital transformation.
If I can add in there, Chardonnay, it's important to remember that when you're talking bi-directional comms, yes, sure, exactly what Sai said, you need to be able to connect to any cloud to get data out into the cloud. And once that data has been analyzed, you've got information and you want to speak back to the machine. The the secret is there needs to be standardized communication. And the world has recognized with Industry 4.0 and IIoT that OPC UA from the OPC Foundation is a standard. And of course, our products from Turck Banner speak OPC UA. This is a very important protocol. Also, the protocols of AMQP and MQTT. These are protocols when you're talking, for example, a sensor to cloud type communication and bidirectional communication when you're sending parameterization information down to the sensor. These are important protocols. So the standards we also adhere to, and that makes life really easy for the customer, no matter what cloud they're choosing and no matter what the bidirectional comms is that they're looking at.
I'll just add one little thing. I hope next week there will be a white paper available on our landing page, where you can find more answers to that. Let me call it more technical questions. It's a longer one. I think it's 14 pages or 15 pages, but it's worth it to read it. And you find a lot of input, how to use that data, what the benefits are, what standards we are doing at Turck. Not every of that standards is described inside, but the decentralized automation related standards, and how the role of standards compared to the individuals in the end will be in the future. So have fun and feel free to download that. I hope next week we will have them online. If not, you can just contact Kenneth or Brandon to get it as soon as we have it possible.
Yes, I've put our contact info in the chat, so I hope everyone can see it.
Great. Well, thank you very much to you, Sai, Kenneth, and Brandon. That was very informative. And as Kenneth has mentioned, there is contact details in the chat to all attendees on the right-hand side of your screen. If you don't have those contact details, please feel free to contact the AATF team to get in touch with the Turck Banner team for further information should you require it. Well, that brings us to a close. Thank you very much to all of you for attending, and again to our panel and Turck Banner for the informative session. We look forward to seeing you all at our next AATF Technology Tuesday, which continues on the 20th of October at 10 a.m., where we will hear from IFM. Until then, keep safe. Thanks again for attending, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.